Lionel Nelson here. Welcome to A Father's Note, promoting fathers through building men.
Choices.
Right. So you have another son, again, which that would be Rashad.
Yes.
Okay. So that's 3 years later, you will have Rashad is born. And what did the first son, how did the first son prepare you for the second? What lesson or essential lesson that you would say that you had learned between James and Rashad?
This is an honest program, right? You said you wanted raw.
No, I love transparency, brother, on here.
Listen, I hadn't learned nothing, if I just be honest, because during that time between, of course, I learned to be responsible. I learned to take care of my kids. But as far as being a man, I was wilding out during that whole time. I wasn't trying to, be a faithful man. I wasn't trying to, do the right thing. I was just trying to take care of my kids.
Right.
And I happened to get another son come along, and I got to take care of him. And during that time, yes, I had a relationship with my sons. I had a relationship with them.
Okay.
But I
you didn't abandon them. You didn't abandon them.
No, I didn't abandon them. It wasn't until God kind of changed my life that I started paying attention to my actions, knowing it was when I got saved and learned and understood God, my Father, and understood the scriptures where Paul said we have many instructors but not enough fathers. And when you look at that, he was saying we have many people who can tell you what to do, but they don't live it. They're instructors. A father is one that you can learn from their example, from watching them. And see, during that time, my sons couldn't learn from my example. They couldn't watch me and learn how to be a man or learn how to be, they could watch me and learn how to go to work or how to take care of my kids, but they couldn't learn, how to be a man, how to father a daughter, they couldn't learn any of that. So it wasn't till I learned the true value of a father that they could now start watching me and say, hey, this is how I father my children. So I can't say that I learned a whole lot between the two.
So now, after fathering two sons, my question is, how did that relationship with them prepare you for your daughter, your first daughter?
If I just be honest, I don't think any son-father relationship can prepare you for a daughter, because it's such a different dynamic. It's such a different dynamic when it comes to a daughter. Man, when you have a daughter, it's all of a sudden your alertness goes from 50 to 100. At least that's how it was with me. It's like my mind started going from 50 to 100, because now, fathers with daughters have this protective, that's when you go, I was a police officer, but that's when you go buy your first gun, that's when and here's the problem that it was for me. I knew what I was like.
Wow.
And remember, my oldest son's mother, who I got pregnant out of wedlock, was somebody's daughter, was somebody's granddaughter, that was somebody's sister, that was somebody, and so, man, your mind, when you have a girl, you start thinking about yourself, you start regretting, you begin to regret. When my first daughter came to man, I started regretting things that I had done. Believe it or not, I think that she actually helped me to see life differently. Shawanda she helped me to see life differently, to think, wait a minute, you got a girl, man, you got a daughter, and look at what you were in the past. Look at how bad you were to other women in the past. You start praying like, God, I'm sorry, I repent. I don't want to read this with my daughter. It just changes.
Oh, man.
You start thinking about things that you didn't think about with your boys. You start reflecting on yourself. Girls make you look in the mirror. At least that's how it was for me. Shawanda made me look in the mirror, because now I'm gonna want to hurt somebody for doing to her what I did to someone else.
Wow.
And so it just makes you think. Yeah, that's my oldest daughter right there, Shawanda.
Yes, sir, right there.
Yeah, and so, man, you want to hurt somebody when you start you know, she's a daddy's girl, always been, always will be. She's 36 years old, I think now. She's always gonna be a daddy's girl. And man, it just makes you start thinking differently as a man, you know, and you really start reflecting on where you were and what you've done. And then you begin, I guess it makes you, you get real with yourself. Then you become real with yourself with you know, the failures and the things that you've done, and you begin to go to God and repent for real. Lacey, that's her favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to God for real, then but it just makes you think and reflect back on your past and yourself.
So let me ask you this, because what you said there was very, very interesting. So then if you can answer this question, then why do we have, or what would you think would be the reason that we would have fathers abandoning their daughters? If it had that type of effect on you, why they don't have that effect on all fathers, for that to cause them to, you know what, I got to step my game up. I got to get in place now. I can't be about all the shenanigans. I have a responsibility here. What do you say to that?
I think number one, it's a heart issue, but I also think it's the perpetuation of the fatherless. Remember, I did have a father in my life. I had my mother in my life.
That's good.
My mother was very important to me. You know, I was raised to always respect women as it pertains. I would never put my hands on a woman. You know, I loved women, but I would never like physically, you know, abuse a woman. When I was a cop, man, it was a situation we had where I was out and this prostitute was trying to jump on me and beat me up. And I was trying to arrest her. I'm trying to hold her. I'm waiting on backup. They come down the street rolling, laughing because they see her swinging at me and stuff. And they looking at me like, dude, why don't you just knock her out? I'm like, I can't. She's a woman. I wasn't raised like that. She's trying to fight me, but I can't hit her. You know, she's a criminal, but I can't hit her because my mom, it's like, you know, that was instilled in me to respect this woman. And my dad, you know, I think it's a problem. We've perpetuated that fatherlessness. And when a man has not been raised with a father, remember something. Remember what David said, I'll put no evil before my eyes. Because your eyes are a gate for what you see or what you don't see. Remember, it's what you see or it's what you don't see. You know, and many men have not seen what a father is. Many men have not seen. So when now they have a daughter or they have a son, they are just perpetuating what they've learned and what they've seen or not seen in their lives. And so therefore they don't, if I just be honest, they don't have the heart to reflect. Unfortunately, and this is just kind of the dichotomy of what we deal with. We have issues in our society. Unfortunately, with African Americans, well, it has been. I believe it's getting better now. I pray that it is. But we've unfortunately had this pattern, you know, where we walk away from our kids, whether male or female. You know, I could do it, but I believe that's because I did have a foundation in my life. And so this show actually is so important because some young men who are watching this have missed having that foundation. Right. They weren't taught the foundational principles of being a father. See, being saved is one thing. There are some things, I was talking to my sons about this recently. There's one thing, it's one thing to have a brother code, a sister code, you know, certain things we don't do, we do, you know, with our brothers, our sisters. But then there's another thing to have a moral code that has nothing to do with brother or sister. And see, our society is missing that moral code. Well, there are just certain things that you do or you don't do when it comes to your children, when it comes to your friends, when it comes to your family. That moral code is missing. And it's a heart problem, I believe, why men can just walk away from their especially their daughters, man. Daughters just do something to a father, man.
Bro, you Bishop, you're preaching, man. I'm gonna definitely make sure I pass around the offering plate when we
My Cash App is up. No, I'm just kidding.